Welcome back to the F1 2019 career mode here, guys, and you join me for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But first and foremost, we're in the hub of the Chinese Grand Prix, where there are interview transcripts that Emma sends us for interviews that have taken place between Mr. Weber and Devon Butler. So, for example, like with Devon Butler's one here, not seen much development and progression of your car recently. Why? Well, right now we're in a position where we're on top of our game. Why waste resources? If we face a real challenge, we'd be in a better position to counter it. Makes perfect sense. Anyway, we got our rear downforce upgrade after that failed last time out. So that's now on the car for Azerbaijan. And then it's looking like in the race, or we've got nice sunny quali. Nice sunny start to the race, but then the danger of maybe catchy monkey bit of drizzle. So we'll see if that has an impact on the Grand Prix in any way, shape or form. Now, looking at the development, Ferrari squeaked ahead in China and they have stayed ahead. So Mercedes yet to bring an upgrade to the car, so they haven't got anything yet for Baku. Looks like Racing Point have brought a small upgrade to bring them closer to Haas and to Renault. We've, of course, brought another small upgrade, so we're now pretty much level with McLaren, which, of course, is Devon Butler's team. And it looks like Alfa Romeo have brought an upgrade to bring them further away from Williams, who had caught them, and they're now closer to us. So it's good to see a lot of the lower teams pushing some development in the early stages here, and just sort of see the midfield going to be shaking up all the time. But, you know, we've got that major engine power upgrade. That'll be in effect on the car from Spain. And obviously we've got to get through Baku first. Speaking of getting through Baku, let's get through quali and get our position for the race.
The circuit has rubbed in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan.
So here is my opening account at the end of it, which is where we're charging towards the line, max and overtake mode. This opens the account with a 43.3. That put me slowest at that time. So let's ride on board for a lap of the Azerbaijan circuit. And you'll see maybe why I don't quite enjoy this place too much. As we're currently provisional slowest, taking a big lump of curb at turn 1. I'm already like a couple of tenths down on my delta, maybe for braking too early for the corners. Another 90-degree corner into turn 2. Brushed the wall, but it seems like the exit was somewhat okay. Now we are charging down towards turn 3, and if you'd like to hazard a guess at what type of corner it is, that's right, you guessed it. It's another 90-degree corner. So we go into turn 3, and we're just going to run wide and hamper the exit up towards turn 4. It's a 90-degree right-hander. Oh, the difference in these corners. We come up towards turn 5. Hey, hazard a guess. Look, it's 90 degrees, but it's not as acute. Oh, no, wait, no, here's another 90-degree corner. Right, fantastic. 6 90-degree corners out the way. We move towards turn 6. Well, no, 7 actually, and it's actually a hairpin, so there's some diversity here. And now we head towards the castle section, which I will admit is actually quite cool. It's all about chucking it in and utilising the very limited space on exit to carry the speed up the hill before some more 90-degree corners. Then now we're flat out through these very faint lefts, and you've got to like maximise the space on track. And then it's really tricky to guess the braking zone into this downhill left-hander. Kissing the curve, that pushed me wide, rubbed me up against the wall, and that's cost me time on acceleration before we go for another 90-degree corner. And we've got that all wrong on exit. And this was me. I was basically pushing too hard on this lap. It's cost me time. And you can see that I'm going to be down on my delta. We're not actually going to improve on this lap. I just wanted to sort of show the lap in its entirety. If you're new to this channel and were not aware of my absolute hatred of the Baku City circuit here at Azerbaijan, but we're going to come across the line. Like I said, it's not going to be an improvement. It's a 42.6. It's last. Pleh, is all I've got to say. Let's get on to Sunday.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The Baku City circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, This track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Lando Norris. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience. But some of these guys in Formula One have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Lucas Faber and Magnussen, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Stroll and Pierre Gasly, Grosjean, Russell, Sergio Perez. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Hulkenberg, Albon, Leclerc, Robert Kubica and Devon Butler, Norris and the captain. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so qualifying wasn't great for us, therefore we need to commit in the race. Thankfully, I am somewhat of a master of taking a car from low down and trying to get it further up the field. I am much more of a racer than I am a qualifier. I can't even recall if I managed to get a pole position in the entirety of the F1 2018 career mode. Nonetheless, it is going to be a fairly simple and straightforward, rather bland, rather boring one-stop strategy. Mediums onto hards. Just chuck a bit more fuel in so we can utilise the speed down the straights. Here we go with the lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 5 are on at the back with the McLaren's. Lights are out. Away we go. Charles Leclerc down in 16th after a grid penalty. Let's see what we can do into turn 1. Can we try and make up any positions? We briefly tap the back of Norris and then we see Leclerc, and I don't want to cause contact with a Ferrari. We managed to fight past Devon Butler, and then Norris leaves the door open. In fact, so does Robert Kubica into the following corner, so we're going to try and outdrive him on exit. He does, of course, have Mercedes power, so it's not going to be that easy. George Russell well up there, but we're in the slipstream now of Robert Kubica, and we're going to see if we can make a move into turn 4. It's going to be very tight on apex. Perez and Albon go side by side. Leclerc just trying to keep his nose clean, and he is on the soft compound tyre due to a qualifying penalty. Vettel has disappeared into the distance at the start of this race as the Mercedes scrap away. Meanwhile, we're just trying to keep our nose clean against our other racers. Leclerc dived it down Albon, and he's now fighting Sergio Perez as we are up behind our teammate Alexander Albon, who goes defensive into the hairpin just before the castle section. So he moves across in front of me. We're going to have to brake very late, try and avoid the back of the Toro Rosso. We're going to try and cut underneath him on acceleration. Can't quite get through, and now we have to try and be careful through the castle section, nearly tapping the wall there. And that's the last thing we want to do, take off a chunk of front wing at the end of the first lap with the field all bunched up. But here we go now, up now towards that tricky left-hander. We've got to try and stay as close to Albon as possible so we can slipstream him down the main straight through the left and the right. Here we go. Now we're going to be trying to use that slipstream that I had spoke about, and this could be us up into 16th place as we see Vettel setting the pace. And we've got Leclerc trying to get past both a Racing Point and a Williams up ahead there, but we're now going to pull past Alex Albon. It's going to be into the braking zone of the first corner. We're going to have to go the long way round. That's exactly what we've done. Fantastic move round the outside of my teammate into turn 1, and Leclerc still can't get past George Russell. That is incredible driving, but later on in the lap, Leclerc in that superior Ferrari has fought his way through. We've got a yellow flag here on lap 2. Who or what has happened, or who's out of the Grand Prix? It's Nico Hulkenberg as he's pulled off there with suspected engine failure. Given the way the AI is pulled off, I wouldn't be too surprised if it was. But now we move on lap 4. Look at the field in front of us. It's all managed to stay relatively close together. Very similar, if you remember, to Bahrain, where the field in front of us didn't really get too far ahead of us and we were able to capitalise on the strategy. Can we do that again here today? I'm up to rich and high, but in all honesty, I don't really see myself challenging George Russell in a straight line. In fact, I've got Kubica up in 16th with that Mercedes engine, and we've got the two McLarens and Alexander Albon fighting over last. And here we go, first of the pit stops already at the end of lap 4. It's one of the Alphas. So are we going to see the front runners coming in soon? We shall see, but we're still continuing to push on as points are just up the road, and we can see it's very, very close as we come into the final corner. We've got George Russell just ahead of us, Kubica right behind us, and we've got a Renault, a Ferrari, a Racing Point. So And all the way down this back straight, it's all about that engine power. Our tyres are in fantastic nick. And now we're closer to George Russell than we were before. So we're going to, I'm going to try and save a bit of engine mode here. Just because if I've got the slipstream and if I can get DRS. But unfortunately, Russell's got it as well. There's a Renault in the pits. There's multiple cars in the pits, as a matter of fact. These soft tyres really not lasting. And we've managed to pull ahead of Russell going down the straight. And we're up into P9 as the pit stops happen. That is Sebastian Vettel, and he has come out side by side with his teammate Charles Leclerc, who started near the back and is on the same soft tyres. Vettel, of course, now moved to the mediums. We're going to have to maybe defend against George Russell up towards turn 4 because he is going to have DRS and a bit of slipstream. Is he able to make a move? No, he is not. Vettel pulls ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc remains ahead of Romain Grosjean. It's now between the two Ferraris if Leclerc can convert to a one-stop and see if he can challenge Vettel towards the end of the Grand Prix. But we're up to 9th and we are up behind Romain Grosjean, and we're going to have to try and see if we can get past the Ferrari-powered Haas car. Coming near the end of the lap, he's pulled a bit of a gap on us, but we should have DRS.
Forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
And Jeff giving us an update with regards to the rain. Leclerc pits, Perez pits, Verstappen pits, Hamilton pits. We're up into 5th position on this soft compound tyre, and it's looking very similar to Bahrain once again, and I'm certainly not complaining. Near the end of the lap, we're currently on a personal best. Could be in for a 1 minute 46 this time around, and we have pulled right up behind Romain Grosjean. We are getting nicely pulled along on the straight lines by the Ferrari-powered Haas. We do kiss the wall ever so slightly. It's going to hamper our momentum, but we should be good now in the slipstream of him to try and swoop past him before turn 1. Vettel with the fastest lap of the race on a 43.7. And we just got past Grosjean before tapping the wall. That was very, very close. Didn't quite realise the margins of space there, but up into 4th place. Vettel on the softs again, so he's on an aggressive 2-stop strategy. That's very interesting from the Ferrari boys. But Vettel up to 3rd. There's a Red Bull and a Racing Point ahead of him. But we've got Grosjean still up behind us. He's not given up the fight for 4th position. He's going to try and have a go down the inside into turn 4, and we're just going to squeeze the Haas. No contact made, thankfully. Actually, good driving from Grosjean there, and through past him. Hopefully, he deemed that one was fair, but we've got to remember, he's got a more powerful engine than us, and now he's in our slipstream, and he is utilising the DRS, and unfortunately, come the end of lap 8, I think Romain is going to maybe try and have a go back at us into turn 1. Let's see what he's able to do as we continue to go through this first stint. I'm going to remain on the left-hand side of the circuit. We look back, Grosjean, there's the DRS open. Just see the speed difference. Look at the pace, the straight line speed from the Haas. He dives past us, brakes early. I've tapped the back of him ever so slightly. I think I'll be lucky if I have got away with no damage there. Vettel has now gained the lead of the race, and Stroll is going to lose a position to that Red Bull as well. But we've now got to try and keep up behind Grosjean and see if we can retake 4th position, all the while having Lewis Hamilton, the charging Lewis Hamilton, also on that aggressive 2-stop strategy, up behind me on the soft tyre. But we've got slipstream and DRS versus Grosjean. We've turned the engine up. We're actually going to save a bit of ERS as we slingshot past him into turn 1. Nicely done. Kept the car nice and stable. And a similar sort of move, maybe a little bit easier, that one, than the one we pulled off on Albon. But Grosjean's trying to fight back into turn 2, but he's compromised himself on exit there. And he's going to be easy pickings for Lewis Hamilton down this straight into the next corner. But Grosjean's actually kept the place, so
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
So we were told a little while ago that we were going to be getting rain in 10 minutes, and now it's 10 to 15 minutes. So that's maybe questioned the rain a little bit there. So we don't know when we're getting it. All I know is we're up to 4th, Hamilton's up to 5th, and he's now going to be challenging me for position. We're going to be coming in within the next couple of laps. Scheduled pit stop lap for us is a lap 12, so I need to remain ahead of this field realistically and try not to lose too much time versus the Mercedes. So we're going to let Hamilton through and just hope that he can pull us along. I don't want to lose too much time versus Hamilton in the middle sector over the next couple of laps. Of course, he is a Mercedes. He did disappear into the distance, but it's lap 12. We're coming in this lap, and let's see what we can do as we just fly into the pit lane, try to eventually get it slowed down a little bit. But Russell now up nice and high. Gasly is coming this lap as well to fit the hard tyre, so Gasly is one stopping, and he's looking very strong at the moment. He's in fact going to come out ahead of one of the Ferraris that may have another pit stop left to make, but we're going to leave the pit garage in 15th place. Kubica coming in, Ricardo's just up the road, And we've been servicing the pits much quicker than Romain Grosjean was, and we've built a hell of a gap to him, at least like 3 or 4 seconds there, even though he's right behind us coming into the pit lane. So
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
So there's a further update from Jeff, and now it's 5 minutes till the rain. So very topsy-turvy about when this rain's going to be coming. All we can really do, because we've now made our pit stop, is foot down and go as fast as we can. Albon's in the pits, multiple cars are in the pits. Let's see where we're going to filter out. Looks like we're going to pass Verstappen through turn 1, and we are up to 10th. So we're currently in a points-paying position, which, you know, certainly isn't one to be argued, having started last in the Toro Rosso. We've set a personal best through the middle sector. We've also got Verstappen right on our gearbox as he's on medians to the end of the race. Same sort of Honda power unit. Probably he's got a bit more juice given the fact he is a Red Bull, but don't really feel like losing time arguing with him. So he's going to pull ahead into turn 1, and we're just going to sit behind him. Similar to what I try and do when top guys come through, just try and stay as close as possible and just use them as a tow. But we've messed up turn 2 and Verstappen's disappeared into the distance. Anyway, lap 15. Verstappen's pulling ahead. Perez is now the next car that's chasing after us, and we've got more cars in the pit lane. A load of cars in the pit lane actually. This time around, we're going to go up to 6th position. We've got up to there. Incredible stuff from this one-stop strategy, and Perez chasing us down. In fact, he's sent it into turn 2. Can we try and hold the position versus the Racing Point car? We probably had the better run on exit, but he has DRS due to being behind at the detection point. We have the slipstream though. Can we try and make a move into the following corner? Unfortunately, Perez, just with that Mercedes power, able to pull slightly ahead, but can we stick with him through the middle sector? I doubt it, because that Racing Point car isn't too bad realistically. Probably performing a little bit better in game than it does in real life. So Perez has pulled ahead, and we now have Kevin Magnussen in 8th place coming up behind me. But then there's a long gap back to one of the Williams. I think that might even be George Russell, you know, running in P9 at the moment for Williams. So fantastic job by him. We've got Magnussen, probably going to be very similar to Grosjean earlier on in the Grand Prix. I just can't defend myself at this point. So no, it's Robert Kubica running in 9th place on the hard tyre. So I stand corrected. Fair play to you, Robert. Fair play to you indeed. But Magnussen has got through, and we're down to 8th, but, you know, still a points-paying position at the end of the day. I don't think there's any pit stops left for anyone to make in this Grand Prix, so we just need to keep an eye on the rain, which we're now at the end of lap 17, and it's bucketing down. Compared to the start of the lap, it was relatively dry, so the cloud cover formed pretty quick, and the heavens have opened fairly quick as well. So let's come in at the end of lap 17, try and control it into the pit lane, and we're coming in for a set of intermediate tyres. I wonder if anyone is going to be ballsy enough to stay out, or if teams aren't going to double stack. And if teams don't double stack, I would love to know why, because it's going to cost them more time doing another lap. But we've been serviced. We're being held because of cars coming past. There's Kubica. So Perez, and that's where we were. I think a Haas. Has Magnussen gained there? Has Magnussen got ahead of Perez and me? DRS disabled. That's where you can usually tell it is the crossover point. But 9 laps to go if you include the one we're on. And we're up into P9. So not too bad. I would hope maybe a couple of cars ahead of us are still on the dry tyre. Lewis Hamilton retires from the race. That is huge for the championship. And it does appear indeed someone's been left out on dry tyres. That someone is Lucas Weber for the Alfa Romeo. Is still on a set of mediums. And he's poodling around now. So we're going to get a little bit of slipstream off of him coming on to lap 19. But Weber, I would expect, is going to be pulling into the pits now. And indeed he is. He's going to drop out of the points. That's unfortunate for him. But it puts us back up into 7th. Perez still leads the way. And then there is a Haas ahead of him. Like I say, I'm not 100% sure if that is a Grosjean or a Magnussen. But we've got a Mercedes and a Ferrari behind us. So their two-stop strategy has not worked out this afternoon, because they've, of course, had to convert that to a 3 with the tyres. But Kubica, lap 21, Kubica has caught me. And behind Kubica is that Mercedes and Ferrari I mentioned before. So 7th place doesn't look like it's on the cards. Actually, we've fast-forwarded a little bit, and it certainly does now, because that Ferrari is battling a McLaren. And Bottas is up into 8th place. So Kubica's lost some speed. Still in 9th place, which is nothing to scoff at, really. But I suppose we'll complete the final lap of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It would appear the action died out after that around the pit stops. I was caught, and then no one was really able to make a move on me, apparently. But yeah, this rain's coming down really hard. This isn't like the light drizzle they said it was going to be at the end of the race in the weather forecast. This is, you know, if this carried on for much longer, we'd be going to full wet tyres. But by the looks of things, we're going to be good for the rest of the race. Just being very careful through the middle sector, because I certainly don't want to bin it if I'm in a points-paying position in the Toro Rosso, considering we started last as well. So very cautious. We've got 9 seconds ahead to Perez and 2 seconds back to Valtteri Bottas. But just going to be careful. Just want to bring it home in the points-paying position. And once again, it looks like being bad in qualifying has paid off. And it goes to show that mistake that was made in China, where we were able to get inside the top 10, actually hampered us. We would have been better not qualifying there. But Vettel has won the Grand Prix. That's probably going to take his championship lead ahead. Well, not probably. It is going to take his championship lead ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who has, of course, retired from this Grand Prix. And we were fighting the car through the castle section. But now, coming through the end of Sector 2 into the difficult braking zone here, we're just going to use a tiny bit of curve. That might have kicked us out into the barrier, but we kept the car nice and controlled. And into the final sector where it's, well, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's still just as easy to throw the car into the wall, especially through these next couple of corners where in the wet you probably could take them flat, and I don't know if I do here. Let's have a little look. We take a big confidence lift before the second one, but that should be all the areas of concern out the way. We're going to charge it towards the line. It's going to be another points-paying position. It's P7, and that consistency is back. Goes to show China was just a bad round. More points for Toro Rosso.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So Sebastian Vettel has won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix from Pierre Gasly up to P2, really performing well. Lance Stroll gets himself a podium position. He is the king of stealing podiums around Azerbaijan, and he's done it again here in 2019. Congratulations to Lance Stroll for that magnificent podium. Verstappen just couldn't catch him. If he had had DRS on that final lap, he probably would have passed him. And then we have Kevin Magnussen. It was indeed Magnussen. Managed to jump Perez in the pit stops and then just pulled away from him in that final stint. Got him by like 15 seconds. Incredible pace there from K-Mag. Perez, though, looking good in 6th, up from 13th. We capitalised on our strategy and did 20th up to 7th in a Toro Rosso. Not really going to scoff at that when we've beaten Valtteri Bottas. And Robert Kubica in a struggling Williams, able to bring home a couple of points. And Charles Leclerc not quite able to do a fairy tale like he did in China, go from 18th to first place. He went from 16th to 10th, but that was obviously due to a grid penalty. He started on the soft compound tyre. Devon Butler just outside the points for McLaren in 11th position. Then we have Ricciardo, Grosjean, Norris, Albon, my teammate, in 15th. Raikkonen, 16th. Weber ended up 17th due to being left out to dry on the dry tyres, funnily enough. Looking at the driver standings, Vettel does pull out his lead, of course, due to fastest lap. He is now 26 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen now jumps up into 4th in the driver's standings. And Pierre Gasly, with another second place in a row, has 36 points now, and he's up into 6th place. We are down to 10th, but we, of course, now have 15 points to our name. But both racing point cars of Perez and Stroll looking very, very strong, and they are going to be a challenge in the constructors' standings. They sit 4th, but Ferrari lead the way on 121 points to Mercedes 101. Red Bull 78. I've already covered Racing Point there in 57. Haas moved to 5th with 21 points. We jump Renault with 15 points to Renault's 13. And Williams have a couple of points. Imagine Williams getting points ahead of McLaren and Alpha. Let's chat with Claire.
Let's have your take on it. You've had experience with Devon's fast, aggressive style. Any advice for the drivers he passed today?
Complain on the radio and get a penalty. Or get him a penalty. But no, you just gotta be as determined as he is. Get your elbows out.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Yep, strategy was key, but the car felt okay. You know, all things considered, it was alright.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
I would hope so. Out of the 15 points we have, I've got all 15 of them.
How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today?
I would say it definitely did with the switch to inters, but it also separates the good from the best drivers.
Appreciate your time.
No worries, Claire. At least you've actually got some emotion.
Just the terms of our proposal. The more ambitiously we set our targets, the more willing the team will be to give us better perks. We'll have a few chances to suggest a deal, but we need to be careful. If a proposed contract exceeds your value to the team, it will be rejected, and too many attempts will leave us stuck with the original offer.
All right, renegotiation of a contract time. So I'm going to outline there that they should expect me to qualify 14th, but I'm going to go with the highest possible race position. I'm going to say we're just going to finish outside the top 10 to try and get some better bonuses. Now, I saw these preset contract perks, like with the 2 level 3s, and I was like, that's going to go way over the contract value. So I got rid of simultaneous development, brought these down, and I was like, right, okay, maybe 2 upgrades per department. And look what it does to our contract.
Our proposal has been accepted. The new contract will take effect from the next race weekend.
So I could have taken the proper piss there, because now I've demeaned myself with a worse contract. So I could have probably had level 3 race bonus and level 3 pit stop efficiency. And I just sort of sat there looking at it for a little while. Went, did I just do that? Because I remember like how much the difference was between level 2 and level 3 in F1 2018. But you know, is what it is. We've got nearly 2,000 resource points coming off the back of this race, so we're going to utilise some of that simultaneous development, and we're going to get hopefully a couple more aerodynamic upgrades, another front and rear minor upgrade, and that should make our car more aerodynamic than the Rich Energy Haas F1 team, and bring it up there with the McLaren, who of course are our main rivals at the moment. Still got 911 points left to spend. Could potentially go in chassis, but the durability in this year's game is very, very unforgiving. So I'm going to take some ICE durability upgrade and hopefully get that engine to last just a wee bit longer. So looking at it now, Spain, 2 aero upgrades, 1 power upgrade, and a durability upgrade. The durability upgrade will definitely come in because they don't fail, but it's about those aero upgrades, and more importantly, if that powertrain upgrade comes in, I certainly hope it does, because that will put us well above McLaren and up there with racing points. But guys, that's been the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Normally goes a hell of a lot worse than that, so I'm actually happy with how this one turns out. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, please leave a like and comment any feedback down below. Next time out, we have one of my favourite tracks on the calendar in the Spanish Grand Prix. That should suit our car and my driving style a little bit better than this circuit does, because, you know, it's not all 90-degree left and right-handers. So if you want to keep up to date with the content that comes to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and enabling those notifications so you don't miss a single thing that I do. And we've got to really get on with this season 1, because falling behind a wee little bit. But you know how it goes sometimes. Things get in the way. I'm going to stop using excuses, things. I should have ended now. See you all next time. Okay, bye.